Right, remember to just talk slowly, loudly, clearly, and just act natural. Except, don't want to get sound in here. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Gerald Larner. I'm a grandfather to Tommy Larner.
I understand that you knew someone that contracted polio when you were very young.
Yeah, the man I knew that had polio was named Gerald Gasper. My father would be Tommy's great-grandfather, worked for this man's father on the ranch in Gilroy. The boy was a teenage boy at the time my family knew him. He grew up and was married, had a couple of children. They were on a family vacation at Lake Tahoe, where they were water skiing, camping, so forth. He was water skiing, fell in the lake, and immediately had some sort of symptoms that prompted them to take him to the hospital by ambulance. And he got to the hospital and was paralyzed and was diagnosed with polio. His life after that was very, very bad. He didn't have any quality of life. He spent the remainder of his life, which was probably, I'm guessing, but somewhere around 15 to 20 years in an iron lung. Where do you want me to go from there, Tom?
Well, how do the doctors think he contracted polio or got paralyzed?
At the time, I think, I don't know whether to call it ignorance of the time period, which would have been in the early 40s, but they at that time thought that the shock of the cold water in Lake Tahoe in the summertime when they were on vacation triggered this polio to come onto him.
And how did he go about life? He was in an iron lung, right?
He was in an iron lung, basically 24/7. They could pull him out to bathe him, to feed him, I believe. He had, I recall as a young child that my dad would take me out to visit him, and he would be in an iron lung, and when he would talk to my dad, they had a small tube that he would hold with his lips in the corner of his mouth that would inflate his lungs, and he could talk on exhale. So that is the only way he could speak, because his lungs, all of his chest muscles were paralyzed. He was paralyzed from the neck down, so that was the way that he could talk to people. Other than that, the iron lung breathed for him.
How did you feel standing next to the iron lung?
For me, at that age, I would say I was probably, when I was visiting with my dad, probably 5 years old. It was very scary to me to see this huge machine with this man laying in it, and all that was out of the iron lung was his head. So it was pretty scary. I thought, I didn't have any idea what something like that was used for, never heard of it before, but it was pretty scary to a young child.
And when did you yourself get vaccinated for polio?
I was in grammar school. What year did we say that was, the vaccine came out? 54?
Yeah.
So I would guess probably around that time, 54, 55. And I remember standing in line with the other classmates, and they would give you a sugar cube with a drop of the vaccine on it, and you just hold it in your mouth until it melted. And that's really all I recall about it. I don't know if it was one or more doses, I don't know. But I do remember the one, and that was how they did it.
Let's see, what else do we want to say? that might be it.
Okay.
All right. Good job.